also makes it more vulnerable to bugs.
Mhm.
I really, okay, oh,
Oh, no worries.
Finish your thought.
well, I was just gonna say, I really appreciate the update on the highway trees.
Yep, we'll be talking about that and
Yeah, so I thought I'll just save my comment
Alright.
on that.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Tangent Tree Bee and Park Board to order. Right. Oh. Hi.
it's a booklet. That's our new fancy.
Oh, it is.
picture.
I'm just saying, roll call then. So I thought,
Okay.
pledge of allegiance
Okay.
usually before roll call?
No, I think I've always done roll
Was it?
call.
Okay, I might be backwards. It's all good. Okay, roll call it is. Kay, Joanne. Absent. Seton. Absent. Deborah.
Here,
And Mitch.
Rich, yes.
Rich, sorry, my bad. Yes.
Here.
And Matt, I am here.
Okay. Oh, got a corner.
Okay, then we're on to Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
okay, I have to turn my phone on, sorry.
Good idea.
I don't want it to interrupt us.
All right. And on to the adoption of the agenda. Have any changes anyone wishes to make?
I didn't even read the agenda. That's not the same as the minutes, so. I don't
I
know.
think it's pretty straightforward. It's on
Yeah,
the
okay.
front page for everybody.
Make a motion.
Okay,
Motion to adopt the agenda.
all right, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say by aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, on to public comments. Don't have anyone here in online.
Here and just double checking, nobody online. So,
Online, alrighty. Now then, on to the reports.
yeah, so I got the reports there about everything with the park and tree board and all the stuff. The big thing is we're finishing up the fiscal year. Looks like we might be a little bit short of our goal, but we still have 1 month because remember the finances carry a month over. So we're hoping we'll hit that goal. The big thing is we think now because of the like the economy and everything, we're noticing there's a pattern where used to be we get a steady stream of checks all the time. Now it's like the week it's due, we get a lot more. This week we only had like 3. So it's really become noticeable, but everything should still be looking good. When it comes to the parks, hopefully by our next meeting, we'll have you all take the opportunity to vote on the new park. Because remember, with the new park, we need to have equal or greater value than the old park. So we do have to put in some infrastructure, but I think we agree on like the picnic tables, maybe we'll cut our small items. And then once we have that, we'll check with the state of Oregon, make sure they give the okay, like, okay, this is good enough. Because the land itself is twice the size. So we think that and some basic amenities will hold true. With the trees, we'll hold off on additional spending for the Tree City program. Not because we don't want to, but because if we could hold off to October when they open up for next year, and then, okay, now we're gonna start, that'll count towards next year because we already exceeded this year's goal.
that's good. Besides, you don't want to have any trees until fall anyway.
Correct, the trees in fall, and even like, for example, Skylar has agreed to volunteer. Well, with him volunteering, I think I could charge up to $25 an hour for volunteers doing something. So when he goes out there, yeah, it's probably gonna be 10, 15 minutes of him volunteering to water or two trees. I'd still count that time
Mhm.
towards the Tree City program. So that's a really big handy thing. The Bee City signs, they did arrive. We gave one to their village to install on the south side. The other one I got down there just sort of as a display, and I could show it to everyone. But once we get the landscaping and a new sign post on the north side, both of the Tree City and the Bee City sign will go up. And then, as I mentioned with the funding, looks like we might be a little short. We could be on track to hit the 42,000, which will be huge, considering this is our third year with the repair and replacement. So that means a good example when we looked at Pioneer Park, I think it was 3 years ago for the grant, but we didn't get it because we found out about what happened with that park. That was $80,000 for equipment. Well, now we apply for a grant and they're like, oh, you need to have a 10% match. Well, we got potentially 42,000 in the bank by the end of July. We could cover it and then that grant will go much further and we could just keep our parks, trees, and bee cities that's more sustainable through the fees. So yeah, that's about it with all the reports. So no need for any approvals for any of that, but just for the meeting minutes, that would be require approval. So
Right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If this is the appropriate time, I just need you to kind of, I want to tell you what I think you said about the income from the sewer fees and the stuff. So you said we usually get a lot of checks about the time that they're due, but we only got like 3, and then everybody else didn't pay?
no, so what would happen is whenever we send the checks out about the 23rd of every month, some people will get that and then they'll just right away, here's my check, or I'll get it next week, or it was
You
just
send the
always,
checks out?
we send out the invoice.
Oh,
The
okay,
bills.
okay.
And then checks will come in throughout the following week. Some people will just right away bring it,
Because it's due on the,
20th of each month.
okay, yeah, okay.
So what we're seeing is it's very quiet, but then around near the 20th is when all of a sudden we get a bunch of checks.
Mhm.
And I think it's because, people are holding off till later, or their memory is like, oh yeah, I gotta get this done.
Mhm.
And we just think it's because of the situation of, it's getting expensive, everything and all that.
Mhm.
Our collect rate has dipped a bit. I know in the budget meeting that was discussed a bit. But what we're gonna do is when we raise the rates annually for the COLA, we've been putting more, hey, if you're behind your utility bill, Community Services Consortium can help out with that. So that way you're not trying to just, and you avoid the late fees. So we've been trying different strategies, but yeah, we're still getting a good collection rate. It's just everybody's now waiting longer till the 20th to make your payment compared to before where it was almost every week I would have a handful of checks to process. So
Mhm.
There's no auto pay feature, is there?
no auto pay. The computer system we have doesn't have that option, but Jennifer, our finance director, has been looking really hard into different software to hopefully find something with like auto pay,
Like an
electronic.
ACH withdraw from the bank kind of thing.
Yeah, just because that is the most heard feedback she has heard since she started. Is like, is there any way you could get that? And she's decided, I want to look into it. It's like, let's go ahead, look into it. I mean, we're learning it's very expensive, but maybe there will come a point where it's like we can find some sort of good deal and present.
Well, I bet if you raise the rates to X, but if people paid by this date, then it will be this. So you choose. I did that with a cable company. It was very effective.
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking at the options, and especially like once the pavilion is put in, we might have to adjust the park fee a little bit just because we had to calculate it with all the infrastructure. That one's going to be significant, and especially like, well, now that we see that it's costing more than we anticipated, we may adjust it a little higher outside of the COLA next year.
Mhm.
But if we do that, per our budget committee, we will have a town hall in January so people know 6 months in advance, like, this is the plan.
Mhm.
So it's not just a blind side like what happened 2 years ago when we tried to introduce a new fee.
So, the new fee to cover the increased maintenance costs for the new equipment and new building, so that we can actually maintain it in a methodical, regular maintenance way. So we don't get caught with, oh, well, we have this big, beautiful thing, but then we didn't take care of it, so it just crumbles.
Exactly.
Like, I don't sign up for that. I'm not signing up for that.
Yeah, the park fee, we structured it when I got here to, okay, it was collecting money, but it was just more, okay, there was almost no purpose. So what I did was we'll approach it with a repair and replacement. So we took the value of everything. So like, for example, the middle benches and the middle picnic tables, we got their cost, which I think was like around $700, really high.
Mm-hmm.
You take all the value of all of our assets in the park, assuming they all have 25-year lifespan, you take, the total cost divided by 25, then divide that by 12, and then the number of utility, about 400.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we came up with this new, started at 451, I think now it's like a 560 or something.
But that makes sense.
It does.
Because
yeah.
you can, what am I trying to say? Substantiate that.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's
And
not just pulling a number out of a hat, it's an actual based on
Yep.
these following criteria.
And it has worked really well to
Mhm.
where, if we could get that goal of 42,000, because our goal is about 14 to 15,000 a year. So that first year, hey, good news, we got 15, then we got 30.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're looking at about, 42,000. It's like, this is what we really need, because I guess a good example, we removed the picnic table there, and I'll get to it later, but let's just say it was vandalized.
Mm-hmm.
With the old ones, like, oh, this is going to be a hit.
Mm-hmm.
It's still not pleasant, but it's like, well, we got 42,000, a $700 picnic table is not the end of the world. We got it covered.
Mm-hmm.
And then assuming we don't have picnic tables vandalized for the rest of the year,
Right.
that would need to grow. So.
Right.
So it's working really well. And so with the pavilion, it's just, okay, we'll add the value of the pavilion, 25-year lifespan. We'll get a list of critical parts that will have their determined lifespan. So then we'll know it could be maybe like $2 or $3 extra. And it's like, okay, we'll still just be transparent with the public. Because those is more than just a color, but it's to maintain the pavilion, to ensure every 25 years we got enough for, okay, it needs roof repairs.
Yeah.
Or just little things. And that's the big key, is it takes care of the little things. So, I mean, where the picnic table, if it's 25 years old, it's like, hey, it's still a really great shape picnic table. We could offset that to maybe 30 years, and then that money just keeps growing. So it's really, a lot of water utilities try to do that, but then the hard part is sometimes, things go wrong, and it's like, oh, chemicals, especially water utilities, they fluctuate a lot, and then wipes it out. With a park fee, we don't have that worry unless park equipment stuff becomes super expensive. But we put in there like a 3% inflation, but
Right.
we'll see how inflation does next year.
Right. Well, thank you, Joe.
Not a problem.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Okay then. So I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the.
Okay, motion, do you have a second?
I do second that.
We have a second. All right. Any further discussion?
No.
All right. Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay then, on to new business. We got the Highway 99E tree update.
Yeah, so this one is not good, as you probably all read. Malcolm, our arborist from Peak Tree Care, we've been working with him since 2021, after, some of you might remember when we had that big tree limb fall out here.
Yeah.
And he's been really good at every other year he'll get this or pile, and then, giving us advice, like when we had a sudden tree limb failure on that I asked him, like, is it because of the hot heat or should we give the water? And he said, don't give the water because it's almost like a shock effect and it could make the sudden tree limb failure worse. So he really has proven to me that he knows what he's talking about.
That's encouraging.
So unfortunately, when I had him look at Highway 99E and the trees there,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing he saw was the girdling roots,
Right.
which is essentially what happens is, you know, since they were in a plant and they were never groomed to go out,
Mm-hmm.
they're just growing us and they're
In a
choking off.
circle. Mm-hmm.
So some of those trees he thinks they're not going to last another year, and some of them maybe a few years. So with the landscape, and I talked to him, it's like, do you think it's worth if I connect you with the Dare Village who has a subcontractor to landscape, but like organize, like we're going to get rid of these trees or these trees, and maybe we'll see if maybe they even think all the trees, but we're going to have a plan to replant the trees. So we're moving forward already with their coordinating, but I have not heard their plan yet. And I figure I'll email the planning commission. I mean, you got the park and tree board to let you all know. But the big thing is, you know, making a recommendation for the council to, hey, proceed. We're okay with removing these trees, but we want a new tree plan. With a new tree plan, it will go much smoother because we will follow the, you know, protocol of if it's going to be more than $10,000, going for bids. We're going to make sure if somebody says, I'm taking care of it for a year, does that include watering? We could also maybe even do the option of what we've been doing here, like plant 2 or 3 trees a year, so it's more manageable to water the first 2 years. The other thing too in the report, you mentioned they're all red maple trees, which they grow faster, but they don't have the long lifespan. So a future question would be, do we want bigger trees that?
And they are not all red maple. There's at least 3 or 4 varieties there. Maybe the red maples are the ones that are hardest hit. But yeah, I think there's, okay. Let me know when I can pipe in.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, you know, it's really unfortunate. I know when I talked to Dan, our city attorney, it's like, look, we don't even have a contract. There was no contract awarded with this work back in 2020. Is there anything we could go after? Because the city spent $17,000 and the trees were not essentially planted properly. And he said without a contract, it's really hard. Maybe complain to the BBB about it. But I mean, the president only guaranteed 1 year of care and could say something like, hey, they lasted 6 years and they might go longer. But it's like, the arborist's opinion is it's on you. So, and he just doesn't think it'll be productive of my time. So.
Well, I agree with that. It was just a bad thing that we did. And we didn't do anything better. It just got worse and it's not going to get better. So I think we just need to go back to the very beginning as if we never had any trees there and make a good plan with a good maintenance, rock solid maintenance, because you have to bring canned water, whatever you call it, tank of water. It is no easy task because there isn't any water source out there. So
I'm with you.
so yeah, because we don't want to spend $17,000 on a whole bunch of trees. It just doesn't need that much.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would agree too, because it
And
was well intentioned, but ill conceived.
there we go.
Yeah. So,
I think we should be very selective about what kind of tree we grow there. And something that it's, you know, sends down a really deep taproot, and something that requires very little branch maintenance, and maybe even something that's a native tree, albeit the ash trees, which are fabulous for this area, but we're not allowed to plant those anymore because of the bug thing. Sad, sad, sad. It might even be a combination of some deciduous and conifer type thing. Also, I think Joe is right on the money of preparing the area and maybe even reducing the amount of area so that it's more manageable. And definitely have, well, in the city, like the sidewalk trees, and I did this on oak trees on the pathway. You put some big circles, let's see, it was like pipe.
The fencing with the tree on it.
No, not that, because those are, you only need those for baby trees that need a bonnet, so they don't get scorched. But you can put a pipe, and for me, I put 3 pipes about this tall and drilled holes in them. And then the holes were below grade, but the top was solid above grade, so I could pour 5 gallons of water around the tree, and it would just, the pipe would hold it and then get it down to the root. And those trees really did well.
Nice.
And at least it contains the water and you can measure it. It's kind of like a tree bag, only it doesn't cost very much.
Right.
And so that's an idea. Or put a big solid ring around it, like cut a great big metal tube, and slice it off about that deep or something, and put that there, and then put the tree in the middle, and then fill that up with water for X amount of inches, so that things the water doesn't go all over the place. Because if you just go out there and you pour water on the ground, it has to break the surface tension before it's even going to get down to the root. And that's why I did the pipes with holes in them, because then it got down below grade.
Right.
And plus, I think the soil out there is probably like heavy duty clay.
I would think so.
And maybe part of the deal could be to work up the soil, the perimeter about 2 feet deep with, amendments or something, so that the water, the surface is permeable more than, anyway, those are my ideas.
But you're right, just having a plan. What's done is done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we
And
just
move on.
move
Tell
on.
your bosses on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
And I bet you anything, if you have a backhoe, you just scoop them out and they're done.
Yeah.
And then you put them on the burn pile. And like 5 minutes, you've got them all dug up. It's not a big deal, because they didn't send down a taproot if they're girdling.
Mhm.
And even if it was a taproot, it'd be probably really, really weak. That was just my thought, having not actually gone out there and physically inspected.
Yeah, I haven't been out there either. I should.
So I think, as far as that, I definitely recommend city council that we proceed with replacing trees, eliminating trees, replacing trees, developing rock solid maintenance plan, and have like a design that would complement our new entry there on the north end of town without obscuring it. I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, I'm getting that typed in for the meeting minutes, so. Because the plan would be, the council would hear about it in August, then when we meet in September, that would be our first opportunity, like, okay, I've got in touch with, ODOT just to make sure they don't have any rules like which trees we can or cannot plant.
Oh, good idea.
By then, we'll see the landscaping will be hopefully done by that point, so we have an idea of like, okay, we know the type of trees. Here's what their village says will be best for their mowing and stuff, but they're looking at planting clover, so hopefully a lot less mowing, a lot less.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Um,
Nourishes the earth too.
and then hopefully even get the Department of Forestry, because they're the ones that run the Tree City program. Maybe they could give us tips on like, here are some good idea trees, and then that'll allow you all the information to make decisions hopefully by September.
Right.
Good.
And then from there, we'll go into looking for bids and all that. And then,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's a
thinking,
good, strong
I'm
start.
thinking like 5 trees,
Yeah.
not 30.
But you gotta have a way to water 'em.
Yeah,
Whatever you put down there.
absolutely.
says motion, direction of motion, or would it be more consensus at this point?
I think a motion will be good, just so that way the council see like, hey, this is something we want, and the way Deborah even phrased the chief board recommending, that was almost perfect, like, just to direct the council, hey, proceed with budgeting for tree replacement, so. Because, it might be fiscal year 2028, but that'll be, remember, July next year, where then we can start, okay, we got the funds. So if it's 5 or 6 really nice, already mature trees, that's great.
At least 10 or 15 feet tall,
Yeah,
but those are really expensive, but even 10 feet. They grow really fast if they're taken care of, and look really, really nice,
mm-hmm,
and they will grow.
yeah.
Even if it's have to start off again.
Do we just need to remove the trees that are dead at this point?
I think we should just remove everything, start all over fresh.
Do we need to remove the ones that are?
Well, if they're girdling, if every single one of them is girdling,
Mhm.
they're gonna have to go bye-bye anyway. So if you've got all your equipment out there and all the manpower out there, they may as well all go at the same time. Level all out, whatever. make
Yeah,
it- And
that-
just, I mean, that's what I
That's,
think is the wise use of resources and time, all of that business.
yeah, that's what I suggested, Malcolm and Matt from McCare, but like, you guys coordinate, because there's like, if there's some trees like, hey, this one, it's not too bad, maybe it could, okay, we would keep that one, but I let them decide, because they're like, hey, we'll keep these, but maybe 2 years from now, these have to be gone. That's something manageable at that point, but if they come back and like, we're just thinking get rid of them all, that's why I wanted to bring it up to you all, because I just figured if all of a sudden, and this is why I'll bring it to the council too, because I know while we're not spending money, all of a sudden, if people see, hey, all the trees are going, that's gonna get people riled up, so.
Yeah.
think
Well,
that's
I
the
didn't even think
importance
of
on it.
that. I was just thinking what's economical.
Hello.
Hey, have this for Joe.
I'm Jim.
Hey, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day.
You too.
Ooh, did you get flowers, Joe?
No, microphone's for the town hall.
Oh. Good old Amazon.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay, so I guess we'd have to go out there and see which ones are the most viable.
that's what
Take it from there.
Malcolm is doing. They've already been told to do that, but I just figure at least get the public up to date, just because I know anytime you're removing trees, people are gonna be like, what's going on? So I
Yeah.
want to,
Mostly for big trees.
especially the big ones, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe even Malcolm could recommend a good tree for that particular area.
yeah, I'll definitely will ask Malcolm. I figured can't hurt to ask multiple people for their opinions.
Right,
Maybe
right.
that'll just help us maybe get some ideas. We're like, oh, we didn't thought about that, or that could be unique. So
Mhm.
there's no power lines over that side, correct?
I'm
not so
sure.
sure.
There is, because
There is.
it runs down along the west fence row of that field, and then it jumps in
Mhm.
when it's past the
There is.
entering tangent sign, and then it continues.
I'm gonna just double check on Google Maps quickly.
First line, it's really close.
Okay. Because that might be something just to be mindful of now. It's like, oh, there's power lines there. It is, but it's not like, it's more closer to that fence then. So I don't think it should be an issue, so.
Yeah, I'll pay more attention to the chat next.
But that'll be something with ODOT and everybody will do our due diligence, make sure we just have a solid plan.
That sounds good.
Because even if for some reason, let's just say it's like, hey, it's less than $5,000, well, I could just approve that by myself, so.
You know, I'm just gonna bring this up.
Mhm.
I worked for a gentleman who is a botanist, and he did the whole landscape plan for, I think it was I-90. I can't remember, 91, 92, 95, I can't remember, in North Dakota, between Mandan and somewhere else, I can't even remember. But it was just all plains. And when they put the highway in and they did all the excavating, they just put the dirt on the side of the road. And so he started with absolutely dead dirt. There was no soil, so he had to create the soil. And then he told me the whole thing. I'm like, what? Why aren't we doing it this way? Because there's no rainfall out there. It's so frigid in the wintertime. So he had to create an environment like the mycorrhiza and the way the evaporation is from the ground, that has the snow, and the snow leaks in there, and then it evaporates, in the summertime. But he trapped that evaporation so that it would condensate and go back into the soil, and condensate and go back into the soil.
Interesting.
And so he had this recipe. So of course, he had to make the soil first, and he used raw manure and the existing soil and organic amendments in huge heaps. They took backhoes and dump trucks bringing all this stuff in, and they turn it. It took 3 years to make the soil. And then they dug a giant trench 3-4 feet deep along the whole highway for like 100 miles, just a huge amount. And then he had all these trees planted, but he put the soil in. He laid out the visqueen, that their plastic, fat, thick plastic, all across there. He put pea gravel over the whole top of that, and then he put holes where he wanted his trees to be planted. They were seedlings. And just flooded the whole area with a huge amount of water. And that's the last watering they got. And you can go on the computer on Google Earth and see how all those trees, and they were a variety of different colors of trees during fall and spring. It's like, wow. So I thought, in arid areas, you just have to make the soil alive, and you have to make sure you're trapping whatever moisture so it's not evaporating away. So I thought, I've kind of done that with my oak trees, and it works really good when they were babies. But since everything grows in Oregon, we don't have to be that careful. But anyway, it wouldn't hurt to think about employing that kind of a technique.
Improving the sites.
Yeah.
Just to trap the moisture.
Right, because kind of my next point was, so what do we have, of course, to keep us from getting back to the same place that we are now? Well,
They're just not getting enough water.
exactly, because that's the root of the problem right there, just being able to keep them watered.
There's got to be a plan.
Yeah, so that's definitely something like, we would want if there's a contractor clearly stipulated, because I still remember that was my first year here. It's like, oh, they'll water it. And then they're like, no, we don't only replace it if it dies. You guys water it. It's like, it kind of like, well, we don't want to spend the money on water. And then it was asked the fire department. The fire department said no. It was like, well, ask for volunteers. Create a bet volunteer.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, had to go to town and rent a big tank.
The big tank, and I was just
trailers
The whole
out.
thing.
There's got to be a better way.
So definitely it's something where we want to make sure it's like, okay, there's a plan, so that way, at least the first year, it was like, okay, everyone said we had to water the first year, but the second year, that's why I also think towards the idea was like, it was just a small approach of just like a couple of trees, so it's not a big effort.
Well, and I just thought of, why don't we have a big hole dug, put in a big water tank, and fill it up. Fire department might fill that up once a season, like 200-gallon tank, and then you just pull water out of that, water your trees.
I think that if it's permanent, probably permits and all that, but I don't know what ODOT's gonna say.
Well, it's, yeah.
I mean, it can't hurt to look into it, so.
It's just a matter of coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not viable. Maybe it's not viable to replant trees because you've got a constraint where you can't keep them watered.
Well, we can't. We just have to figure out what the recipe is.
Mhm.
Fake trees. Let's just use concrete trees, like the Swiss Family Robinson tree at
Yeah.
Disneyland. I
No
really
one
like,
knows the difference.
they won't. They won't when you go along. You just drive by, oh, wow, what a huge tree. That's great. Everybody will
Has that
know.
always been there?
Right. That's not a bad idea though, really. You don't have to water it.
Yeah, we'll definitely work with it.
But this is Oregon. They will grow.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
All right.
So, yeah,
Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
not a problem. Does anyone want to make a motion so I can forward to the
Oh.
council?
Okay, I make a motion that we proceed and directing city council to address the tree situation on the highway by eliminating them or having a plan to eliminate them and replace them with a plan that would include preparing the area, maintaining the area for as long as it lives.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Can you read it back?
Want me to say it again?
We're looking to remove the trees as needed and proceed with a replacement plan.
Okay. So remove the trees, replace them as needed, including a watering and maintenance plan.
That's
That all. And recommend the city council proceed with a plan to remove the trees, replace them as needed, and include a plan for watering and maintenance.
so that you're rescinding your previous motion and replacing with that?
I thought I was just
Oh,
restating.
is that, okay, I'm double checking, just making sure. Okay, yes.
Is that okay that I just restated it?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, so that's my final motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I don't quite like that.
Well, let's iron it out then.
Okay, you can make an amendment to that if you wish.
Okay, would you read that again, Joe?
Yeah, recommend the city council proceed with a plan to remove the trees, replace them as needed, include a plan for watering and maintenance.
And I would just suggest that we make an amendment that says that recommend the city council remove the trees as needed and not replace. So remove the trees as needed and proceed with a plan to
Oh, yeah. Plant new trees.
to proceed with a plan to proceed with a plan to, I don't know, reimagine the space, considering the maintenance
Okay.
and future viability of the site. I just think we just want to remove the trees that are dead
Right.
and then come up with a plan. So I guess my amendment would simply be to just remove the trees as needed and proceed with a plan.
Okay. Got that as an amendment, motion, so.
Okay, so we need a second on that.
Well, I have a clarification question.
Yes.
Do we need to be specific about what we want this plan to include?
Not yet, because I will be presenting the plans in the September meeting, and then that's where it was developed and it will come together. At the end of the day, most likely, I'm pretty sure if we do multiple trees, it might cost over 5,000. You will give the first, okay, this is our plan, and then the council will give that final okay. So we don't have to get that specific yet about what the plan will look like,
Okay.
but.
So just so long as we have, they know there is going to be a plan
Mhm.
that will be executed.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good with that. I like the way you worded that. Rich.
Okay, so the amendment motion is make sure recommend the city council move the trees as needed and proceed with a plan to reimagine the space considering the limitations of the site. That sounds good.
So now we need a second on that.
Second.
And Deborah seconded that.
Oh.
You made the
Oh, I made an
motion, amendment. Deborah seconded. So,
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, so all in favor, so this is for the amendment. So,
We didn't even vote on the initial one.
correct,
Yeah.
because this will amend the original.
correct.
Okay, so we're,
And then you vote, so yeah, you vote on the amendment and then you vote for the entire motion.
okay, got it.
Or the original, yeah,
Okay,
Powell's package deal at the end, yes.
okay.
Okay, so for the amendment, do we, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all those opposed, same sign. Amendment passes. Okay. On the entire motion at large, those in favor?
Well, can we read it?
It will be the original one was recommended that the city council proceed with plans to remove the trees, replace them as needed, and include a plan for watering, maintenance. That is now recommended that the city council remove the trees as needed and proceed with a plan to reimagine the space considering the limitations of the site.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm now ready to vote.
alrighty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Excellent.
All right. On to the Bass Estate Park picnic tables.
Yeah, so we moved the first picnic table that was more directly underneath. What happened last year when we had a sudden tree limb failure, Malcolm came out, did some removal. Then like 2 weeks later, another tree lost limbs, and he told me about a sudden tree limb failure that occurs with old oak with the high heat. And the concern was, what if somebody's in the picnic tables like that came down? So we talked to CIS, and CIS said, we do a good job of maintaining them every other year. Just because a tree fell, you could still claim that there's a claim that act of God, where it's just like, we did everything we could, you just happened to be in the wrong place, wrong time, and the tree fell on you. They still recommend you may want to consider relocating those picnic tables. Well, we decided it's like, okay, we'll do that this next upcoming summer. So Dylan has gone ahead and moved the first one, and we have it behind the shed. It's not like the newer ones, it's the older wooden green picnic tables compared to the new steel ones with all the little holes. So I wanted to ask with you guys, is like, do you have suggestions on what to do with these two picnic tables? Because we could relocate them closer to the trees. It's hard to find shaded area without it because the sun's traditionally on that side. So the shadows along the road. But we could move them to Pioneer Park as an example, or maybe Meadowwood Park, or maybe even save them for potentially the new park.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We wanted to
That's a
see,
great idea.
because we didn't just want to be like, oh, they're old, chuck them in the trash or something. So,
Right. They're still viable.
So,
Yeah, I like that. Save them for
Yeah, there's still some life there.
for the brush part.
because last year they painted them, they looked really good, and they still look decent shape. Yeah, there's some bird poop and all that, but I mean.
You're always gonna have that.
So, but yeah, just need a motion for like, what you all want to do. So that way we have down the record, like, hey, the park wanted to keep these and we're gonna save them for the new park, so.
Okay, well, I'm willing to make the motion, if we're ready to make a motion.
Mhm.
Okay, I move that we retain the old picnic tables that are removed from the Bass Estate to be utilized at the new park, at the Brush Park, as opportunity provides. That's what I say.
Works. Motion, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay. Yay! All right, motion seconded. Is there any further discussion? No? All right, then let's proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And, all right, there's nothing else. The agenda's out. I'd say we adjourn.
So much, so.
Thank you, Joe, for making all this happen for us
Not a problem.
volunteers.
Don't worry.
Who's Skylar?
Tyler's a resident. He lives off 99. If you're going on Tangent Drive towards 99, his house is the one directly. I should make sure we're off the live stream.